here with our superstar, a female physiotherapist, Megan, who will now take us through the basics of strengthening after birth. I'm so excited for this. I will now discover my weak spots.
We've all got to start at the beginning, whenever it is.
Okay, perfect. So Megan, maybe you start by telling us what we're going to be tackling.
Sure. So pregnancy and birth, the whole process stretches our body to the ends of our movements, right? And sometimes beyond that. So your body technically has moved too much, particularly if we're hypermobile as well. And so what we need to do is rein in that movement. We need to try and stabilize our body. We need to put it in like a plaster cast of muscle strength so it doesn't move anymore, to create an environment where it can heal. And no matter when we start the journey, we need to just tick these off, because so often we are kind of encouraged or feel that we need to get back to movement exercise too quickly, and we miss this bit out. But if the foundations haven't been rebuilt, if we haven't laid those foundations to begin with, then whatever we build on top of it is always going to feel a bit fragile. So we need to come back and wind back down to the foundations.
Okay, perfect. So let's start.
So we're going to start in lying. It's my least favourite position, but it's the easiest one to work from. So because we're starting at the beginning, we're going to start completely in lying. So a ball is the best bit of kit you can ever use for a pregnancy and postnatal journey. If you haven't got one though, you can use a cushion. You're going to put that between your ankle bones. All right. So this one's nice and blown up. So the more pressure in there, the harder you have to squeeze. So if that feels too hard and too much work through the inner thigh, then we can take some air out. Okay. But you remember that elevator I talked to you about, those 3-stage pelvic floor contractions? We're going to try and do that now while squeezing the ball. So when you're ready, you're going to squeeze the ball. Good. And then you're going to think about, let's start with the vaginal canal. We want to think about the entrance squeezing muscles. Imagine it like an elevator. I want you to slide those doors shut for me. Then think about that internal muscle, the one that runs up to your belly button. You're going to lift that elevator up through the lower belly. Now lift the elevator to the penthouse, squeezing the ball. Can you feel it? I can feel it. It's nice and firm, like a trampoline.
I'm also squeezing my booty, though.
That's okay.
Is it okay?
That's okay. And then relax. Come back down, and release. Totally fine, because so often we're told, do pelvic floor exercises when people aren't looking. But we're rebuilding your pelvis. We're rebuilding your core strength. The second level, if you like, the more advanced option is then breathing with it, right? Relearning how we breathe, because all your foundations have been rattled by the journey of pregnancy and birth. So what we're going to try and do next is find the contraction. We're going to hold it for a breath in, breath out, and then we're going to relax. Okay? So if you start your ball squeeze for me. Excellent. Try not to clench your bottom yet. Good. Just slide the door shut at the pelvic outlet. Feel the elevator doors close. Then lift the elevator up and into the first floor. Then to the top floor. Feel that behind your belly button. Squeezing the ball. Keep squeezing. Take your breath now. Breathe into your rib cage. Try not to fill your belly up. Breathe out. Yeah, still held it. Unzip. Let go.
Oh my God. It's like some muscles you for.
It looks like nothing, but you can feel that fire in your belly, hey?
Very deep inside and very local. It's not it's really here. It's almost like a straight line.
It's like you have to almost cut open and look down the middle, and there's a whole column of that strength running through the middle of the body. Okay, so when you've mastered that bit, we start to add on the exercise part. So you're going to squeeze the ball using your out breath and that zipper all the way up. Keep following that zipper, using your out breath to raise your arms. In breath, come down. And when you get really good at this, and you can feel it and you can sense it, you move with every out breath. Squeezing the ball. That's the bit that often we end up forgetting, because it's working from your fingertips to your toes. And then you want to try and work continuously like this for 2 minutes. Because in real life, this muscle doesn't get a chance to go off. It needs to be on. So we're going to train it for what it needs to be able to do. All good? And again.
It's harder than you think to connect your breath to this exercise, because you're so focused on the muscles and your muscles are burning. This is a burning sensation.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And that's it. I often think of the breathing, it's so important, but it comes later. Putting it in first when you're learning the movement is a real challenge.
Wonderful.
Okay, now we're going to take you onto your side. So when you're lying on your side, I'm going to get you to start by bending your bottom leg. Good, all right. And what we're gonna do here is just trust our body to keep us still from the top, to engage that core stability whilst we move our leg. So relaxing your head down, the best thing is to find that length, and you already look pretty long. Just make sure we're tired, hey, we're not gonna dump ourselves on the mat, we're gonna take a moment just to stretch ourselves out. Then you're gonna lift this leg up. From here, I want you to keep your pelvis still, and I just want you to move it forwards and backwards. Okay, good. And again, forwards and backwards. And I can tell that you can feel what's supposed to be happening. Yes. And it is happening. I can feel it. So we give our body that automatic chance to come on. You're moving just from your hip crease. So where your thigh meets your pelvis. We move from here and you kick forwards. Nice. And back.
Oh, wow.
And then if you can, take your arm off the floor up to the sky perhaps. And so we just give our body the chance to find all those automatic righting muscles, those core muscles, which give us that stability through the middle as we just move the leg. And once we've got that, we breathe in, sink. Good, breathe out, pull the leg back. Breathe in, kick forwards. Breathe out, pull back. Keep going. We're going to try 1 full minute on each side. And if we are rolling around, if we feel like, okay, I know what's supposed to be happening, but I haven't quite got it, then you need to engage your pelvic floor a little bit more. So it's not automatically coming on perhaps there's been an injury or there's inflammation there. And then as you get better and better at this, in like over a minute, okay, I'm getting bored now, Megan, straighten your bottom leg out for me. Okay, and now go again. So you narrow down your base of support much harder, hey?
Oh yes, this is much harder.
And then coming back a few levels, hand down, bent knee, all those things just make that a little bit easier. So you can take one exercise and progress it through the levels. Okay, so now we're going to work on progression of the tummy muscles from tabletop. So often when we think about core exercises, we often see this position, hey, and then maybe legs reaches or toe taps. But again, they move us quite a lot. First, we need to work on that stillness in this position. We need to take that intensity in the tummy and load it up. Because regardless of the type of delivery we've had, we're all going to have tummy muscle weakness after carrying a baby. So you need to gradually rebuild that strength. So what I'm going to get you to do is squeeze the ball between your knees in this position. Okay, so first give that a squeeze for me and I'm just going to see what happens. So already I can see the inner thigh come on and your lower belly came on as well, which is perfect. Now relax, let that go. The other thing that I can see here is whether the pelvis or the spine is in that nice neutral curve. So I should be able to get my hand underneath your lower back if you tip your pelvis forward. Perfect, okay? So a trick, I'm going to reach between your legs. A trick I show women is to place their hand on their lower tummy and their fingers and their pubic bone should be flush, okay? So if you find that your pubic bone is high, you're probably tucking right under. And if your pubic bone is low, then you're probably overarched. So that's your spine position, okay? That's a good one for you.
Which I think many women, especially because of Pilates, we always think that we need to completely close it off.
Yeah.
But in fact, there should be space. You need to be able
Totally. And there's a time and a place for everything. When we're talking about postnatal recovery, we want to try and think about the deepest muscle layer. And that muscle works best when our spine has all of its natural curves. If you want to just focus on the six pack, which comes later, you tuck and you press down, but not right now. Okay, so perfect, that's neutral. So squeeze the ball between your knees for me. Lovely. All right, now I'm going to get you to try that elevator lift again. So closing the elevator doors at one of the passageways. Well done. Follow my finger like a zipper moving up your tummy, but without changing shape to your body. You're just going to hold it here. You're going to hold it here as you gently breathe. Really good. Just breathing into your ribs. Good. One more. And out. And then release, let it all go. Undo the zipper, undo the ball squeeze, first 10 seconds. And we're going to do 6 of those, okay? So you've got 1 minute of work, because it's the accumulation, it's the volume and the endurance that really builds our strength and the stability back. So if we go again, we're going to ball squeeze. Nice, pelvis is still in neutral, that looks good. Close one of the passageways. Then think about following my fingers like a zipper on a pair of jeans, bring it up to here. Hold it and gently breathe. Small, shallow breaths. I'm going to give you the first progression. Float 1 foot up. Good, nice. Keep going, nothing else changes. Just taking a little bit of support out the leg. Keep that squeeze, pelvic floor if you can, change legs. Nice. And release, relax, come down. Cool, okay. So next we're going to try a 30-second hold. And what you're going to do is alternate up, down, up, down, up, down. So more like walking, but maintaining the core strength, your pelvic floor, your ball squeeze, and your breathing. Okay. All right, so here we go. If we squeeze the ball, okay, nice. All right, give me that pelvic floor contraction so I can feel the tension build through your tummy. That's great. Okay, we're gonna count for 30 seconds now. One leg's gonna come off, down, other leg, perfect, and down. So what I'm noticing as you do this now, whether you rock from side to side, and it almost did, didn't it? And with my hand here, you could see. So we're practicing walking effectively. Every time we walk, which we're encouraged to do after we have a baby, it moves our pelvis, it moves our pelvic floor, it moves our lower tummy. It's not where we should start. We should start here. Build the strength back up so we walk with a stable base, so we prevent injury. And when you're breathing, it's just little shallow breaths. Don't take it into your belly, just little shallow breaths. And then relax, let that come down. Okay, and then I'm going to take you into level 4, which people might progress to. They wouldn't start there, but you might progress there through your postnatal journey. Okay, so ball squeeze, elevator. Nice, holding that here. What I'm going to do is float one leg up. Make sure it just comes in a little way so it's not too far away. Perfect, okay. Make sure the pelvic floor is on, the zipper is up, float the other leg up. Nice, we're making sure that the tummy doesn't jump out because we've got that corset muscle on. One leg down, other leg down. Perfect, go again, one leg up. Ball squeeze, pelvic floor, other leg, nice, and down, and keep going, practicing on and off. And you can see as the concentration builds and the effort builds, we start to hold our breath. And so then we know that the breathing is the next bit, it's the next level, right? Syncing your breathing to this. And with this, I talk about little shallow breaths, breath in, out, small little breaths. Don't try changing the volume in the belly, because the belly is having to work quite hard here. And rest. All good?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, it's beautiful to be able to feel the body. And I feel quite, I don't know, just very loving, and I want to protect my body and do what it needs.
Yeah, it's like the inside wall, isn't it? I think of it as like, we think of this as the house and we're working on the foundations. We're also painting the walls nicely on the inside.
Oh, beautiful. And this is what your book talks about. I mean, the invisible work that goes into rebuilding your core strength, and this is so much more than just doing ab work or planking. These are such deep muscles that I'm feeling, and now as we're speaking, I see that they're now relaxing from the workout. Unbelievable.
Yeah, and that's it. It's working from inside out. And whilst it seems like the basics, if we nail the basics and we really manage to succeed with those, then we'll jump up the levels really, really quickly. Okay, now we're going to take it onto our hands and knees. So from this position, we're going to use the ball again. If you can pop that between your knees, perfect. All right. And when we're on our hands and knees, quite often we try and go completely flat. Perfect. But what we want to see is the spinal curves, okay? So we want to see those little dips, because again, in that position, that's where the pelvic floor and tummy work best. The hardest bit after having a baby, I think, or in fact ever, is letting your tummy go. So in this position now, just let go of your tummy, relax it, try not to hold it in. Perfect, okay? All right, because if we always work on holding it in, we never find out where the true lift comes from.
Wow.
So we're going to relax the tummy, and then you're just going to squeeze the ball. Just squeeze the ball. So already I could feel your low belly pull in. Okay, so keeping this bit relaxed.
Oh, very difficult.
Ball squeeze. Now, better. Now just shut the elevator doors. Think about the pelvic floor. Pinch the entrance closed. Good. Now think about a lift running up through the lower belly, feeling that lower belly draw in. Perfect. Good. Then up to the belly button. Now you're going to hold that and breathe. Hold that and breathe. Gentle breaths. And then unzip. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. So alongside a mirror works really well here, because we often see the whole belly pull in one go, but what we literally should see is the lower belly up pulling in as you get it right, rather than what we all tend to do is kind of hold in from our waist.
It's so automatic that I do this.
Hold in, yeah. And then it comes from the obliques, not so much the front, only because before it would have been all even, but this bit's had such a big stretch from carrying a baby. These haven't changed really. So they're now stronger than the front. And then we progress, okay? So we keep this still, and this time we're gonna move the arms. So we're gonna ball squeeze. You're gonna give me a pelvic floor contraction. You can feel the lift. I can feel the lift now, all the way up to your belly. You're gonna hold it here. Now, without rocking or changing shape, reach one arm forwards. Try not to shift. Bro, good. Bring it down. Relax. Let it go. Reset. Going again. Ball squeeze. Nice pelvic floor contraction. Hold it. Lift one arm again. Good. Down. Release. Let it go. Well done. Now we're going to try and march the arms. So we're going to squeeze the ball. Dip down from here. Try not. That's it. Lovely. Relax belly. Pelvic floor from the base. Good. Nice. We're going to hold it here. And then we're going to lift one arm forwards on our out breath. Lower it on your in breath. Keep the pelvic floor and tummy on. Out breath, left arm. In breath down. Keep going. And it's like I could rest or balance something on your back, and it shouldn't slide off or rock as you go. You're doing so well. This was my hardest exercise after I had my baby. Really felt like the twist come on through the middle. And when you get to this level, it's more like 30 seconds, 4 times of work, resting at the end of each of those 30 seconds. Well done, and rest.
And you can feel it in my inhale and exhale that this exercise is becoming really difficult after just a few repetitions.
Okay, so now this is my favorite position. It's one we're going to build up to through all the other positions we've got to. You're going to open your knees up for me, and then I'm going to place the ball in between your heels, and I want you to pinch that with your heels. So if you start with it just there, and now pinch it.
Do I do this or do I do this?
What happens when you pinch the ball?
I mean, I'm feeling my whole entire body, everything engaged.
Because I
feel
think
strong.
as soon as I squeeze my heels, it grows up, hey? So then you don't have to worry about it. But there is another little bit. So you're squeezing the ball and then grow as tall as you can, like your head is full of helium floating up to the sky, and then you have your perfect posture. So you squeeze the ball. Nice. Okay, so now this is a brilliant position to change baby, play with baby, have them on the edge of the sofa, edge of the bed, to bend over and crooked with the tummy all bulges forwards. Being up like this and playing with them from up here is a really good position. Okay, squeeze the ball. All right. And already when you do that, I see your tummy come on. So go really tall and just start with breathing for me. Making sure we're not holding onto the belly. Don't let me take that away. Nice. And then when you're ready, next out breath, shut the elevator doors at the pelvic outlet. Follow my finger, feel the elevator lift, hold it here and breathe. Squeezing the ball, grow tall. And we hold for a count of 10. And then you let it go, you come down, open the doors, release the squeeze. What I'm gonna get you to do is breathe out, squeeze, pelvic floor, float your arms, breathe in, lower.
Okay.
Ready?
So I breathe out with, okay.
And then breathe in as it all comes down, okay? That's it, grow tall. So your pelvic floor lift follows your arms to shoulder height, nice. And then you lower your pelvic floor down as you lower your arms. Good, and again, breathe out. Good, and then breathe in, come back down. Nice, and again. And then come back down. One more. And come back down. So you can work on and off in that way for 1 to 2 minutes. One more challenge?
Yes.
Okay, so let's call this level 3. So your arms are going to come up to the shoulder height. You're going to grow as tall as you can. Squeeze your heels firmly together, and you're going to maintain that low belly lift. So relax tummy from here. You okay? Balance? Yeah, well done. Okay, so just close the elevator doors. Let's feel the lower belly pull in. Great. Find that lift behind the belly button. Grow taller for me and squeeze your heels. Hold that on and start to beat your arms up and down now for hundreds. But we want to make sure that we don't rock or sway. Tiny bit more gentle with the arms. Tiny bit more gentle. Better. Now you've got that, hey? This isn't popping in or out. You can maintain that pressure. The bigger the pulse, the harder it's going to be here. So build up slow. And when you want to work for 30 seconds, 4 times, you build up that endurance. Hard. And again, one more lift from here. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Squeeze the ball. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax.
Megan.
And that's it. Postnatal exercise doesn't need to be stretching. Actually, stretching is probably the worst thing we can do. We need to work and rebuild our strength.
Megan, thank you so much for coming in today and for dedicating your time and the space to us and for showing us all of this that is so important and so missed really in our just everyday life. I know that I will be feeling this for a few days now. So your Instagram is open to the public, and we will link it as well as the information about your book so that women can go ahead, purchase, and get in touch with you.
Perfect. Lovely.
Thank you
Thanks
so much
for having me.